Hello, everyone, and welcome to Knowledge Power. Knowledge is Power podcast live, and we are live with a special guest this evening, and of course, my co-host Gina Taylor is with us again. Hello, Gina.
What's up?
Hey,
How
what's
you
going
doing?
on? Hey! It's all good. It's all good. I just want to get started. We have been in a uh, little vacation, but we're back on Sundays, and of course, we have a special podcast on Tuesday with the Roundtable Talk. But tonight, we've got Ladonna Sherwood. She is the candidate for Ward 3 in the election, the third May the 3rd. That she's running in Ward 3, the City Council. Hello, Ladonna.
Hello, I'm excited about being here
Yeah,
tonight.
yeah, this has been a while. It's been a few years since
It's
you've been
been a
here with me.
while.
Yeah, LaDonna used to be my co-host at one time. And after she fired me, and I told her, "You got it, baby. You on your way. That's the best thing you ever done was fire me." But anyway, we're glad to have you on board tonight, and we've got a very important election upcoming in May 3rd. LaDonna's running the Ward 3, which includes the South End, let's say the Charlton Pilot Historic District, the some of downtown and North End, right?
Right.
Oh, good, good. So tell us what. Let me ask you something. What 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 you really? How did you really come up and say, "Hey, this is what I want to do"? What made you think you had a big difference in making?
Well, you got to think. Most of the people that are probably on this podcast has probably listened to me and you and us go on and on for years and years about what this community needs. Many of these people know me and they know my work and they know my heart and they know my passion. And I've been fighting in this community for years in all directions, from working with the youth to helping the elderly, from working with the homeless to community cleanups to registering voters to hosting candidate events. I've been outside, engaged in the community, from entertainment to theater, you name it.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's about just seeing Beaumont growing and thriving and a community that we can be proud to pass on to the next generation. And for many years, I've been working campaigns, right? I've been pushing for candidates that I think could lead and represent the city. So I've been pushing for better streets and better roads and better everything from behind. And now I think I'm just ready to lead from the front. So this is what brought me out of the shadows and into the limelight. That's why I'm running for City Council Ward 3, still fighting for my people, still fighting for this community, just from a different position.
Right, right, up front, but then, instead of behind the scene. But well, I must ask you this, and this is very important because I'm very, very, very involved in seeing a better candidate in a better ward, in a ward that was going to do some work for the people in those wards.
Right,
The Beaumont, the Charlton Pollock neighborhood um, have always been left behind,
right.
and I want to know what would you do different that has not been done from the past candidates that was over that ward and that did not do what the things that the people of that ward deserve and should have. What would you do different?
I think that we've got to have some accountability and we've got to get that through dialogue and open community relations and being accessible and being available and having a responsive communication to citizen needs, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when a citizen, when you have an emergency, you dial 911.
Mm-hmm.
When you have something that's happening in and around your streets, lights and potholes and this thing, you dial 311.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you dial either one of those and you don't get a response, I want to be the one that you call to fill in those gaps for people that feel left behind, for people that feel unseen and unheard and underrepresented right? And that starts with being available and being accessible and being outside in the community, listening to the people,
Mm-hmm.
hosting these town halls, figuring out what people need and what they want, and making yourself available to what their concerns are and
Mm-hmm.
being open with the responses and being transparent about what's being done, when it's being done, how it's being done. And on the side of accountability, I mean, every 6 months, you need to get together, host something where people can come and hold you accountable, basically like a candidate scorecard. Okay, Ladonna, we elected you, we expected you to do this, this, and this, and we want to give you a grade. In other words, I'm not opposed to having a place where we can talk and hold our elected officials accountable. And I think that's one thing that we can do that we haven't done in the past. We can do differently. I'm all for accountability. If you see something, you say something. If I need to be the person that's the conduit for whatever you need at the city hall, then that's what I want to be doing. Right? Call me, text me. I'm available. We're going to have my website is interactive right now. If you have an issue with 311 or something that you haven't had addressed, you can always go and text that in there. It comes directly to me, and then we can get together and I will be following those responses all the way to completion or resolution. And if there is no completion or resolution that we can find, we're going to tell you the truth about that.
Mm-hmm. So you're gonna be really upfront about accountability
Oh,
for
yes.
helping
Oh,
that.
yes. Accountability is key, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it does us no good. And I've been on your show saying is to elect these people and then you never see them again. You never hear from them again. And they
Right.
not worried about the job that they're doing.
All
In
they.
order to do that, you really got to put yourself out there, right? And so if I host something and say, hey, I'm cooking, I want to talk to you. Come and talk to me. Let's air it out. I
Let's
mean, yeah.
find out what you want. What's the agenda do you guys have?
And
Uh,
how do you think I'm doing with what you tasked me to do?
right, right. But it takes more than one. It
For
takes
sure.
right. You can't
For
do it all
sure.
by
So being
yourself.
a right,
Right,
yeah, and being a team player, just particularly for Ward 3.
right.
Yes. And in order to fight for Ward 3, you do have to be able to be a team player. We do realize that it takes more than one person.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to be able to play in the sandbox and be on the team and work together with people to make them realize the importance of improving Ward 3, right?
Right, right.
Particularly child poverty, you said they're being forgotten. We need to show the importance of focusing on that particular area of town. And I feel like the heartbeat of Beaumont is Ward 3. And so goes Ward 3, so goes Beaumont. When
Yeah.
people want to talk about all the things and initiatives, we have to fix what's broken in order to generate new constituent businesses and people that want to live here. We do have a historic district. We do have historic monuments and museums and things. I think we can use some of those things to get what we actually want, which is that economic development and that resurgence of business in our community. We
Correct.
can be fighting to uh deregulate some of the regulations that we have for new businesses that are coming into town.
Mm-hmm.
Relax some of those standards so that people find Beaumont as investor friendly, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a big deal for the Charlton Pollard area as
Mm-hmm.
well, making sure that as a downtown whole, we're helping investors utilizing all our tools and resources to get them the help that they need.
Tina.
So I hear this a lot. What exactly is going on with Ward 3 for people to say that they feel like they're being left out or there needs to be some work over there?
I think that for Ward 3, it's the oldest and the largest ward. So when things get done in Ward 3, it's just a drop in the bucket of all the things that need to be done. But when you have an older ward, we know that the only way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. So when they're taking these small bites, it seems as there's no progress that's being made. But this administration, I am pleased to announce, has it put $30 million into sewage and drainage, which is the most that Beaumont's invested in the last 30 years into that type of infrastructure project. So while that's only a drop in the bucket, it is progress being made. And I think that we've got to be doing a better job of explaining how much we've done with what we have and letting people know that while this may not fix all the problems, this is what we're doing. This is what's coming up next. This is how the money's being spent. And then they won't feel like they're not seen. They won't feel like they're not heard because we'll be communicating with them about what is being done, what the things are that we can prove, right?
Right.
So are there other changes besides infrastructure that needs to be done to Ward 3?
There's a lot of things that need to happen in Ward 3. There's infrastructure needs as far as streets, drainage, sewage, lighting that needs to be changed out. There are people that want to see a sidewalk down Lucas. There are people that want to see more business coming into the north end and south end, grocery stores, pharmacies, affordable housing, places that people can go that are new, that are nice, that are not dilapidated and crumbling. We want to see a better quality of life, safety, right? Safety is a big concern, and crime. We want to see parks and green spaces improved in both the north end and the south end. We want to see a lot of things happening in the north end and the south end. We want to just see a better focus on beautification and quality of life for those people in the north end and south end, period. That's what I'm here to talk about and do. While I want to see Beaumont improve, I'm here to focus on that north end and south end.
Is it hard getting a vote on just simple things like sidewalks and stuff?
It is because, um, you know, some people don't consider Ward 3 as maybe advantageous to come and do business or be found working on. I mean, you just have to have compromise and direct, open, honest dialogue with your teammates about the importance of your ward. And hopefully they can see the value in that, because it does take two to bring it to the floor and four to get anything passed. And so it does require some compromise and some negotiation and building bridges and having allies on the council to make sure that what you need is being understood as to why it's needed and why it needs to take precedence over certain other things. So if you go to certain areas of town, you will see where streets have been improved and sidewalks have been implemented because the constituents pushed for it. They really, really wanted it. Their city council representative was able to foster a relationship or negotiate with other people who decided, oh yeah, this is very important and we need to get behind him and do that. I've got to be doing that same thing. This is very important to my constituents, and this is how this matters. And I need you to get behind me on us putting some sidewalks in Ward 3. It does require relationships and building allies and bridges and friendships with people where you can talk straight to them about what's needed and the timeliness of when it's needed, not later on, but right now.
It takes two to present it, and it takes
Yes,
four for the vote to be approved. Do
that is
you think
correct.
you have that much negotiation in
I do.
within
I
yourself
think
with the?
that I am a very impressive team player, and when you want to you want to you want to articulate the needs of the community,
Mm-hmm.
but you want to do it in a way that's fiscally responsible. So
Yeah.
a lot of people are worried about having a balanced budget, so we've
Mm-hmm.
got to be making sure that we're finding the money in ways that's not offensive to other people as well, right?
Right. Right.
Or that we are negotiating ways to like with the terrors that the recent administrator created, they can recapture some of that
Mhm.
hotel tax occupancy tax money to be used in some infrastructure projects. You just have to make sure that they understand that Ward 3 wants their fair share, an equitable share, right?
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
we want a little bit more because we've been what we feel like is left behind. So yeah.
I don't have any more questions. I already feel like LaDonna is already, unless I'm just asking questions for the audience. I already know that she's able, she's equipped. She's definitely a dog when she needs to be, and I mean that in the most respectful way, the most beautiful way. She know how to be soft and she know how to be hard. I mean, that was the only question that I had personally because that was something that I didn't know. I haven't lived in Ward 3 in I don't know how long. So I
I, I'm very interested in Ward 3. It's a home. It's where I was born and raised and grew up in, and I've saw it deteriorate over the years, and I want to see the best for Ward 3, especially in the Charlton Pilot historical district. Now, I have another question to ask you about that. Is that tangibles? We can talk that walk, and we got to talk that talk, but we got to do the walking. How are you going to bring tangibles to Ward 3? Did I lose everyone?
I was just about to say, can y'all not hear me?
No, I hear you now. I thought I lost everyone.
Okay.
Okay.
I think that good leadership looks like listening to the citizens, prioritizing their concerns, and transparent, honest accountability, right?
Right.
We have to we don't have to be rude or obnoxious. We don't have to be angry. But I kind of liked what Gina said, knowing when to do what. Sometimes your slightest touch can command obedience. I consider myself a joyful warrior, right? If I could use that, Gina, that's what we're going to say. The
That's what we gonna
joyful
say. That's it.
warrior. And that's kind of like, I choose to say that's kind of like an angel with a sword, right?
Right.
If you got an angel, the angel is normally there to bless you. But if they got a sword, they can slice where it needs to be. You feel me? So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I kind of consider walking the talk. In order to really get what we need done, we've got to be able to do both. We've got to be able to walk and chew bubblegum. We've got to understand that improving infrastructure does not impede economic development. We can do several different things at the same time. We can have public and private partnerships. We can do some downtown revitalization and economic development, all while fixing streets and drainage and sewage and sidewalks. We can do those
Mm-hmm.
things at the same time. They're not mutually exclusive. And we don't want people to think that we're incapable of multitasking and handling the business of Beaumont. This is
Mm-hmm.
something that's important that I think we need to break down, because we have people that are conflating the idea that if we are some kind of way improving downtown and parks, that we forgetting about toilets and sewage. And that's not true. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's not true. We can do two or three different things at once, as long as we're making sure that the money's coming from where it needs to come from.
What I would like to see personally is, and not just you, the whole council. Before I say this, I know that time is, time. I mean, we only have 24 hours in a day, and everybody have families and other lives and businesses to tend to. So I don't know how this could work, but it's definitely something that could be suggested. Is social media presence more from, and regarding to what y'all do, more from every person that is in council.
Right. I think
Like for
that
instance, if there is a change, if there is something that people need to know, that the lingo was a little different, if you was to attend or watch online, then there could be a paraphrase and a reel that people can make that could, hit hit the city or however. But be a little bit more social media presence only when it comes to city council stuff. I ain't saying that you gotta,
yes, and
do a get
I
ready
get
with
what
me
you're
or
saying,
nothing.
because I had a lady the other day, AJ and I were talking, and I introduced him to one of my friends. And she said, I don't mean to say this because I'm actually an educator, but I'm like dumb when it comes to these areas. I know what I know, but I don't know what I don't know. And it just seems like sometimes y'all talking over my head.
Hmm.
I want y'all to talk to people in a way that makes them feel like they understand, or that they can ask questions without feeling stupid. So when you say a recap after City Hall, you're right. Sometimes the lingo, the jargon, the explanations, it gets into the weeds. We maybe need to do a recap after City Council, where it's in plain layman's terms that we as council people can share the recap. So we went to council and we had 30 things on the agenda, and those 30 things may have some extensive jargon and language that people don't commonly use, or maybe not easily explained. We
Hmm.
can have a social media recap, and I'll be working with the public relations department, because public relations is my undergraduate degree, and my master's is in public administration. So I get the fact that relating to the public is not oftentimes easy and people talk in a way that's confusing.
Mhm.
So for me, I've been trying to talk plain English, right? I always say in a way that a fool dare not err. But I'm saying that to say this. I get what you're saying and I get the anxiety because I invited somebody to one of my things and it's like, oh no, I'm not going because I don't understand politics. So we are turning some people off or out of the process by being sometimes too smart, too overly, when we just need to be regular.
Hmm.
This
Right.
what we're doing. This is when it's gonna be. This is how much it's gonna cost, and this is how it affects you. Direct and to the point. When we get into the weeds, people don't like that. And yeah, all the council members need to be doing whatever they can to communicate in plain English to people. I agree. And I
Right.
see it even with me. Though I always tell people, if I'm not making it clear, let me know so I can break it down so it can forever be broke.
I this is one more thing. This is a problem for sure when it comes, and I'm going to give a perfect example. Mike Getz. When I used to follow Mike Getz, I used to live in Ward 2 before moved to Ward 1. So I will always see him post when it, especially around the elections with Trump, or presidential elections or statewide elections, or anything that is contradicting type of conversations. I will always see him post about all of that, but we'll rarely see another side that says, I am for the people. All you show is that you're biased, you're one sided,
Mhm,
even though
mhm,
you're in a nonpartisan position.
mhm,
You are showing another light, which makes people like me not want to vote for you just off your personality alone. Now,
mhm.
there's a lot of people that vote off of personality and not just about what's real of if they're getting a job done. But how can we see if you actually getting a job done when all we see you do is post foolishness? You
I've
Hmm.
been
know,
trying
I
to
don't know
explain
if
it
he's
to
doing
people.
that now, but that's what I used to see in the past. And I'm almost certain, a
I mean,
dog never changes.
I've been saying this to people lately. Before I decided to run for city council, I decided to meet with all the council members, or at least reach out to them and give them an opportunity for a meeting. The reason for that is I know that sometimes I can come off a different way. You may think I'm
Mhm.
a rebel or activist or all the different things, but I didn't want that to inherently offend what I hadn't even done yet, right?
Mhm.
So even in speaking with the council members, what I learned is, well, Ladonna, you're not exactly what I thought you were. We got to have those conversations. So sometimes people will look at you, they see what you post, they see what you stand for, and I mean, I could be viewed in that light as well. But when you talk to me, what you will find out is that I'm a little bit more of a uniter than I am a divider, and that we have more things in common that we don't have in common. We have more ways that we're alike than we're not alike. And everybody really wants the same thing. Everybody wants a
Mhm.
safe place. Everybody wants to go to places and have a nightlife and somewhere they can hang, and grocery stores and pharmacies and access to care and a regular living wage and positive, productive thing. Everybody wants that, a future that they
Right.
can leave, be proud to. But it's the way we go about getting those things. And sometimes we're projecting ourselves in a way that's really not conducive to what we want. Even me, I've had to check some of the ways that I come across just so that people don't get the wrong impression
Right.
from just looking at me. We gotta have, but the only way we get to that is speaking truth to power and having people that'll correct us on that. Like, that don't sound right, or that
Hmm.
sounds ugly, or that sounds mean, or that sounds biased, or that didn't come across good considering you're representing people like you're saying. You
Mhm.
represent a portion of the city that happens to be mixed, and you don't really want to show your bias. You may have biases because everybody does, but you want to be found being somebody that gives people a chance, that's open
Mhm.
minded, that can have tough conversations, that's not going to just shut somebody out because they disagree with you, right?
Mhm.
A lot
Hmm.
of times I don't agree with people either, but talk to me and let's talk about, why do you feel like that? How did you arrive at that? And did you consider other people? Because sometimes people are just considering their group and they've never even entered into the thought of another group. So for me, in the process of holding those meetings, what I wanted people to see is I can come to you and listen. and hear you and get a chance to figure you out, because this changes how I may see what you posted online. And I want to come into the city council with an open mind. That was the first thing that I did. I
Mhm.
didn't want to become a part of a team or work with a group that I had never met. All I saw was them online or them at a city council meeting. I wanted to meet with them one on one and give them a chance to meet Ladonna and talk to Ladonna. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think the biggest issues are in Beaumont. Tell me what you think the biggest challenges you facing. Tell me what you think the biggest misconception about you are. I ask these questions because maybe I can see something in that conversation that I hadn't seen from a distance. But the only way to do that is to really stop being selfish and self-centered and self-absorbed and get to know people. Talk to them.
Yeah.
Go have dinner with these people. You can't meet me at city council and make an assumption about me.
Right.
That's
Come to
true.
my house. Come have some food with me. Let's go somewhere together, and then we'll get to see some of the things you thought you don't know, and some of the things you think you know, it may be right.
So
Mhm.
we,
So that requires work on the behalf of each person, right? You gotta
Yeah.
get involved and do the work. I'm willing to do that. Some of these people I didn't know, never met them before, formulated opinions, got to know them, started talking to me, and found out I like them a lot as a person. I maybe not agree with what they said, but like cool to hang out with, cool to eat dinner with. I like them a lot, and I didn't even know that. So we gotta do some work, even on ourselves, even
so
on ourselves.
So you hear Ladonna Sherwood, Ward 3, and we're talking about the North End, the part of downtown, and the Charlton Pilot neighborhood. You hear her; she wants to be accountable. She wants to claim her accountability. She wants you to come to the table with her and discuss what your needs and your wants. I have one of the guests, another not a guest, but a host from the roundtable talk with us, Ms. Dr. Catherine Campbell. She has just joined us. Doc, you have anything you want to ask to Ladonna?
First of all, I'd like to apologize for my tardiness. I was on the road and hard to get back in
Well,
time.
that's okay. We're already here, ready and rolling.
Well, thank you for welcoming me. I don't know everything that you've discussed already, but I would like to know, and I did just hear breaking bread, which I always like to do. How do you plan to engage with the constituency?
I think
Yes, ma'am. We kind of talked
we
about
talked
that in the
about that.
beginning, but
Yeah.
this hosting
Okay.
hosting events, being interactive, where if you don't want to voice your concerns, you can text them or you can go to my website anytime. I kind of explain to them that you've got 911 for certain situations, 311 for other situations, and I want to be the one for anything that falls through the cracks. Anything that you think that you didn't get addressed, call me, text me, let's get together. And like I told them, we'll be hosting community events often where we can be accountable, kind of keeping score of what needed to be done, what took place, how long did it take to get, it require. I think that this job really requires a citizen interaction, like rapid response to citizen concerns, right? We need to have some response time. And even if we don't know how long it's going to take for their issue to be resolved, at least let them know I submitted the request. This is where it went to. This is the data that went to whomever, and I'm expecting them to respond back to me by. And I think when you are that thorough in what you're doing, then they can say, well, you know what? I reached out to Ladonna. She turned it over to whatever. They told her they were going to do whatever, and I'll be hearing back from her on this day, with whatever the response may be, but just a response so that people don't feel like they're not seen or heard.
Very good. So, how will you promote diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Girl, you know what? Oh,
I
now
wasn't.
that's one I didn't.
I.
Well, look,
I wasn't
I
expecting
didn't.
that.
I was about to say I did not expect to get into diversity, equity, and inclusion, but I will say this. I think that is something that we have no business touching, and there's a reason that
I,
entire
I,
umbrella
I
was
said
created.
I didn't say how will you eliminate it. I said how will you promote it.
Oh, I think that it is important. I think that we promote it by expressing the importance. And I think that we do that by understanding why it was created, right? Why do we have this? We have this because we had candidates that were overly qualified that were not being considered. So when we understand the importance of why it exists, then we can continue that promotion, because guess what? You have people that will only pick their group and other people get overlooked. Diversity, equity, and inclusion was created because people that were qualified weren't getting
Didn't.
access, right? They
Mhm.
weren't getting
Right.
access to the opportunity. So when we
Right.
figure out how we're missing out, how that can in fact derail and detract from what we want as a city, then we understand the importance of why it's needed, right? We don't want to
Right.
overlook good candidates because they don't look like what
Uh,
they, maybe they're different, maybe they're a woman, maybe they're a minority. We want to make sure that we're looking directly at those people, and I will be promoting that, because I understand why it exists. And I think when we understand why, a lot of people don't understand the purpose of diversity, equity, and inclusion. This is why they think that it's something they can red line. You cannot red line this, because this gives opportunity to people that would not have access to it. I mean, it's necessary.
Donna,
Mhm.
I want to know. I don't want you to give your game plan away, but I want to know how would you, and this kind of, you cut corners on it, but there is not a grocery store
I know it.
in Ward 3.
Three
There's
I
not
know
on
a
it.
either
there's
side.
there's not a
I know it.
pharmacy
I mentioned that in the
in
beginning.
Ward
I know
Three.
it. I live here.
So,
I
so
live here
I,
as
I
well.
don't want to know your game plan. I know you've got a plan. I hope you do. How are you going to reconcile this? How are you going to?
This is a hard question,
Yeah,
and let
it
me
is. It is. How are
let
you
me
going to
let me
get
tell you why.
Okay.
Because doing business in an area requires the entity, whoever they may be, to have confidence in the area that they're going to do, in the city, the regulations or deregulation, whatever regulations there are to construct such a business.
Hmm.
And they have to have the confidence that the bottom line for that company is going to be productive.
Right.
So like, I'm a small business owner, and I'm always going to be fighting for the small business owner, right? People that have an idea that maybe just don't know how to directly see it through to fruition. One of the things that I want to do is work directly with the CVB and the chamber to make sure that we're not over regulating. I'm not saying necessarily deregulation, but some of these standards, Beaumont has a reputation of not being investor friendly, not
Right.
being poised for business. We've
Right.
got to change that narrative. We have to get with our chamber and our CVB and make sure that we're courting businesses. Businesses who may not even be looking at us, we need to go out and be looking at them. Like, hey, did you know Beaumont has this refinery? Did you know Beaumont is one of the largest ports and one of the largest exporters of oil and gas? Did you know Beaumont has the median household income is, not necessarily. I think we've got to use what we got to get what we want. And oftentimes the narrative around Beaumont is not really where it should be. And this changes investors' opinions of why they are or are not doing business with us. We have to focus on what we have. We have a strong economy. We have people that have disposable income. We have places that are actually empty. So we've got places that we can do abatements or tax incentives.
Yes.
We can
Yes.
be found doing some work with the CVB, courting people and going out and encouraging them with
Yes.
our mouth that we
Right.
got what you need, we the place you need to come, and selling ourselves. We got to do that. We have to have people that have a mouthpiece to sell. I think I could sell an Eskimo ice, baby. If y'all get me down there represent Beaumont, we're going to find some people to do what we need them to do. We can't make them, but we can encourage them. We can incentivize them. And then we can get with our regulatory agencies inside the city and tell them, hey, don't mess with these people, or hey, you find a way to pull your resources together to help these people get done what needs to be done. Don't get in the way, get in the helping. Get on the helping hand side. You know what I mean? Because sometimes it may be just something that somebody don't know. Maybe they can't fill out the application correctly. And I'm not saying fill them out, but be investor friendly. Have a department that you can go to help you with regulations. Be found incentivizing businesses to come, abatements, incentives, whatever that might look like. And then maybe we can court a grocery store or a pharmacy or the things that we need. And we need to punch up positive things, punch up the positive things about Beaumont. And everybody's focusing on crime and everybody's focusing on education being this and that. No, nobody wants to hear that when they come in to do business with you.
That's right.
We need to talk about what we can build on. Every challenge is an opportunity to improve. And that's what we need to be talking about.
And I believe you're going to be a great councilwoman in the Ward 3.
Thank
Uh,
you.
any more, Kath?
I do. So, since you did speak of the abatements, and knowing that it does take more than your
Mhm.
asking for it to come on, get on the agenda, um, how it's, I guess it's a two-part question. How will you encourage the other council people to uh, work with you in courting the refineries? And then it absolutely takes four votes to get it
Yes,
taken
ma'am.
care of.
You missed that
So
part
we
too.
know that you can't, I can't leave it out because some of our council people get such a bad rap because they're not attempting to get it done, but they nobody knows the inside story, or they don't,
That
they
they've
act like they
worked
don't,
or they've tried or they've
that they've
introduced it or they
tried it.
put it on the agenda and they
Right.
shot it down. I think you missed that part, but we did answer this earlier, but I'll restate it again.
That's okay if you
Um,
if you stated it before. Okay, so the other part of my question is so when you are ready to approach uh the refineries, that are getting the abatements and the tax breaks and stuff, can they be a intricate part of getting the grocery stores into our areas? And
yes, ma'am.
can we get the same security measures that are placed in other areas? Because theft is everywhere. Okay,
Yes,
but
yes,
it's all about the security measures that are put in place,
yeah,
for that, because I mean, you can minimize your loss with the proper security measures. So can the proper security measures be put in place so that we can have, grocery stores in our area? Because it's almost as though we are paying twice. We paying to get the gas to go out, and then we're paying higher prices,
yes.
because we got to go out there and get it and then bring it back to our neighborhoods.
I think that you bring up a very valid point and it's very important. I do want some incentives and abatements for smaller businesses, not just refineries or whatever. And I think that they're getting their fair share and probably more than enough. But I do think that we need to put some more pressure on the refineries and the petrochemical industry that we have, particularly in Ward 3, that they can do more.
I
They can
think
do
so
more
too.
and
I
they
think
should
so
be
too.
found doing more for the community that
For the
supports and
community.
undergirds them. Now, I'm glad that you brought that up because I'm actually interested in having a meeting with some of the leaders of these refineries. It'll be my pleasure to go in and say, hey, we need help. We need this, we need that, we need this, we need that. And we know that you have these relationships in lieu of what we've done for you to give you a helping hand. We're going to need that same helping hand. And we're going to give you a time frame on what we think you can do by a certain time frame. You know what I mean? We
Mhm.
can't give certain people a pass, especially people that we know can help. We have to lean on them the same way that they're leaning on us. Um, so I'm all for these public-private partnerships where we increase our communication with different people to make sure that we're getting what we need. We closed mouths don't get fed, and so we got to be found telling people this is what we need. We're here supporting you, undergirding you. The refineries are here. We need you now. We're calling on you. We're calling on you to come on out and show us what you can do for us. So yeah, I'm all about building relationships with conditions. right? Because I think that having a relationship where it's one-sided is not gonna, and I think that Ward 3 has given a lot. Ward 3 gives a lot to this community. And I said this earlier and you missed it. I think that Ward 3 is the heartbeat of Beaumont. I think that Ward 3 is the heartbeat of Beaumont, and so goes Ward 3, so goes Beaumont. And Beaumont encapsulates downtown. You want a better downtown? Well, you need a better north end and south end. You want a better north end and south end? Then we do have to pull from these refineries that house themselves there, and we need to get the most out of what we have. We're using a lot of our resources, and they need to reciprocate those same things, particularly in the north end and the south end.
Mm-hmm.
And so, how do you uh, propose putting more life into downtown? I My idea is always having some type of business there that can continuously generate the business or action there, for something that will have a higher foot traffic.
I think
Um,
that I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think that downtown has to be open for business. Right now, I think it looks like it's closed. Right? We
It
need a
does.
flashing sign. I mean, theoretically, we need a flashing sign that says open for business. Now, we know that a lot of downtown is owned by certain key players. We need to be having conversations with these key players. Are you open to selling this? Will you allow somebody to revitalize this? Will you allow somebody to purchase this so that we can create X, Y, and X, Y? I do think that the convention center and hotel is going to bring life. ExxonMobil, I think, has already agreed to so many nights. We got other entities that have already agreed to so many nights, but the thing hasn't even opened up yet. So that's going to give us, and it doesn't have to be totally funded by tax dollars. So I don't want to misconfuse that. I think you weren't here for that either. I said, we don't have to steal from sewage and drainage and roadways to build up downtown. We don't have to do that. They come out of different buckets, and we can privatize some of that funding. We can do public-private partnerships. We don't have to stress about using tax dollars for everything that we want to build and create downtown. We just need to open up and let other people come in who have money and a lot of it, and let them do their work. And we need to deregulate so that they can do what they need to do without all the red tape and foolishness of why they can't get started, or why they can't do the work, or why they can't get permits, or all of that. And when we open ourselves up and we recruit, we go out with the CVB and the chamber and we recruit, then we have to be friendly. We do need that security. Then we're gonna need increased police presence. But guess what? We'll be them draw business that'll be investing taxes, that'll help us expand our budget if we need to. But we have to think about it logically. We got to think about this, and that, and all of these things all at one time.
I think that your this and that should include foot traffic that everybody can use. There are a lot of businesses that are downtown. However, they are catering to just certain cliques.
Right.
Like
Oh, oh,
different restaurants are just for certain people. Different, like hair salon or studios are just
right.
for certain people. You really need something that's going to be downtown, that's going to be continuous, that everybody can use, or everybody can at least have a part in, and
And
not
I
just
think
the gaming area.
right, we
It
need to
has.
strategize on what that looks like, what the citizens want. I know
Exactly.
recently we had a food truck park meeting where we were thinking about where could this be? What did that look like? How much would that cost? And if the citizens wanted it, right? So food trucks, I understand what you're saying. You're saying stuff that's not exclusively for this upper echelon type of people, that's from she, something that the regular person can go to. You can get dressed up, or you can get dressed down, or you can bring your family and your grandmother, or you can just
Right.
bring your husband and your wife, things that you can cater to your guests that are doctors and lawyers in that group, and your things that can cater to skateboarders and rockers, if that's what we want to do. We want to encapsulate the entire multicultural, and Beaumont is diverse. So I get what you're saying. You're saying we need stuff that everybody can feel like downtown is their part of.
Right.
And I think that is important. And you don't have to worry because I hear you. And so listening is a part of being a good representative, right? You got to be a servant leader first and how to serve the
Right.
community and the people. And I hear you. I hear what you're saying. We need something that says everybody's welcome.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, a grocery store is something that everybody uses, but I mean, it's not like you're going to put a grocery store in the middle of downtown, but it could service the north end and the south end and keep consistent foot traffic in downtown because like as visitors come in sometimes with a microwave in the room sometimes they want to warm up something in their room.
Yeah, I
I mean,
understand.
I'm not saying that you want to put a grocery store in the middle of downtown, but something to that effect where, somebody can, or people of all different needs can use it.
Yes,
Let's
ma'am.
let's go to the comment board.
Okay.
I've got that Kayla Morris. She said that hello, I live in Ward 3, so this literally hits home for me. How does Ward 3 community meet collectively to partner and support?
Through the
Okay. Well,
neighborhood
I was
associations.
about to say Ward 3 has a few neighborhood associations because it's the oldest and the largest ward, and there are several. I just realized that there's one near my house, Rosedale Community Baptist Church. I think they have a community meeting. The North End Association has a community meeting. The Charlton Parlor Neighborhood Association, they have a meeting. And I think there's even one more that I'm leaving out. Am I right?
South Park. South
South
Park.
Park. Yes.
Oh, that's part of your Ward 3 in
Well,
South
South
Park as
Park
well?
isn't, but the edge of it is. So
Edge
I
of
got
it,
a
yes,
little
edge,
sliver of South Park, I
little
think,
bit
in
of
there.
it. Okay, yes, yes, sure is.
Yes, I have a little sliver of South Park.
Right,
Yes.
right, right. With LaDonna
And I should have
Sherwood.
sent you the picture of the map, Tommy. I'm sorry.
That's
I
okay.
should have sent you the map as well, just so that people can know where it is. But yes, we and then I'll get you some neighborhood. Both of us can get you some neighborhood association stuff, so maybe you can
Yeah,
post or
okay.
forward.
Yeah, post on my Southeast Texas communities page that we have
Right.
that gets everybody aware, allow everyone to be aware of all the things that's going on in the Southeast Texas. So that's on Facebook. That's called Southeast Texas Community Group Page. So if you want to know what's going on, just dive in that. You'll see what's going on happening there. LaDonna
Uh,
Sherwood. The
Yes.
LaDonna
Also,
Sherwood.
wait a minute, wait a
Mhm.
minute, wait a minute. Also, Miss Kayla, you can also go to the City of Beaumont website. All the neighborhood association meetings are listed there as well. And you're welcome to go to anybody's neighborhood association. You don't necessarily have to live in that neighborhood association. You can visit every one of them.
Yes, you sure can. Sure. Well, Miss LaDonna, do you have any last words? I appreciate you, and I thank
Yes.
you so much. You're going to be a great a candidate for Ward 3. They need some energy. They need
I
some energy in Ward 3. They need some juice.
I know
And I
that's
know that
right.
you're going to supply their needs. Hopefully,
I am LaDonna Sherwood. I am a wife. I am a mother. I am a small business owner. I have been in this community my entire life, and particularly in Ward 3 for over a decade. I am here to listen and help and support. I love this community. I want to be a part of the revival, the reconnection, the reimagining of Ward 3, of what we really want and what we really need. I want to listen to you. I want to hear from you. I want to be open to you. I want to be accessible to you. I want to be transparent, and I want to be accountable. I am here asking for your vote. I am asking for your support. I am asking you for your trust. Early voting is happening April 22nd to April 29th, with election day being May 3rd. The last day to register to vote is April 3rd. So if you know somebody that needs to get registered to vote, listen, we going to register them. Okay. And of course, y'all know my GOTV stuff really hasn't started up yet, but I will be calling your phone. I will be texting you. I will be inboxing you because I'm still me. And don't think y'all not going to vote, because you're not going to let your ancestors down on my watch. Okay. People fought, bled, and died for you to have the right, and you will be voting, whether you vote for me or somebody else. I don't want to misconfused that I do want your vote, but I mean, I just want you to vote too.
Deborah
Thank you,
Briggs
Tony.
said,
I'm glad.
yeah,
Thank y'all for
yeah,
having me.
yeah,
Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this conversation and having this
sure,
podcast. I
sure.
love what you do. And then look, maybe you'll let me join y'all again. I maybe y'all
Yeah.
co-host.
Deborah Briggs says that she congratulates you for new leadership, and they really need some new leadership in Beaumont, Texas.
Thank y'all so much. I
Thank you
appreciate you.
so
Thank
much,
you.
God. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening to Knowledge is Power podcast. We're here every Sunday at 7 p.m. And on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. is the Round Table Talk. And it's generally national and local news, local gospel, and some deep talk. So join us at Knowledge is Power podcast. We're on all social media platforms. Thank you so much. God bless. Thank you, Ladonna, again. And I wish you well. It's all you.
May 3rd.
May 3rd.
Y'all have a good evening.